Hey folks, it's October 30th, and today we are doing the rest of John chapter 8 and into John chapter 9. Our word of the day is seeking. So, what does the Bible say about seeking God? Because that's what we're doing. And yeah, we'll read verses 48 through 58, and then we'll read a little bit of John chapter 9. Okay, Jesus claims about himself. The Jews answered, Aren't we right in saying that you are a Samaritan and a demon possessed? I am not possessed by a demon, said Jesus, but I honor my Father, and you dishonor me. I am not seeking glory for myself, but there is one who seeks it. He is the judge. Verily, truly, I say to you, whoever obeys my word will never see death. And at this they exclaimed, Now we know that you are demon-possessed. Abraham died, and so did the prophets, yet you say that whoever obeys your word will never taste death. Are you greater than our father Abraham? He died, and so did the prophets. Who do you think you are? Jesus replied, I glorify myself. My glory means nothing. My Father, whom you claim as your God, is one who glorifies me. Though you don't know him, I know him. If I said I did not, I would be a liar like you. But I don't know him, and I obey his word. Your father Abraham rejoiced at the thought of seeing my day. He saw it and was glad. You are not 50 years old. You are not yet 50 years old, they said to him. You have seen Abraham? Verily truly I say to you, Jesus answered, Before Abraham was born, I am. At this they picked up the stones and stoned him, but Jesus hid himself, slipping away from the temple grounds. As we went along, he saw a man blind from birth. His disciples asked him, Rabbi, who sinned, this man or his parents, that was born blind? Neither this man nor his parents sinned, said Jesus, but this happened so that the works of God might be displayed in him. As long as it is the day, we must do the works of him who sent me. Night is coming when no one can work. While I am in the world, I am the light of the world. After saying this, he spit on the ground, made some mud with saliva, and put it on the man's eyes. Go, he told him, wash in the pool of Siloam. This word means sent. So the man went and washed and came home seeing. His neighbors and those who had formerly seen him begging asked, Isn't this the same man who used to sit and beg? Some claimed he was. Others said, No, he only looks like him. But he himself insisted, I am that man. How then are your eyes open? They asked. He replied, The man they called Jesus made some mud and put it on my eyes. He told me to go into Siloam and wash. So I went and washed, and then I could see. Where is this man? They asked. I don't know, he said. So Jesus heals the blind man. All right, so the definition of seeking. So tomorrow we're going to read the rest of John chapter 9. Okay, and the definition of seeking is to attempt to find something, attempt to desire, to obtain, or to achieve, attempt to ask for something for someone. Okay, so what does the Bible say about seeking God? Deuteronomy chapter 4 verses 29 says, But from there you will seek the Lord, for God who will find him. If you search after him, you will with all your heart and with all your soul. Proverbs chapter 8 verses 17 says, I love those who love me, and those who seek me diligently find me. Jeremiah chapter 29 verses 12 through 14 says, Then will you call upon me and come and pray to me? I will hear you. You will seek me and find me. When you seek me with all your heart, I will be found by you, declares the Lord, and I will restore all the fortunes and gather you from all the nations and all the places where I have driven you, declares the Lord, and I will bring you back to the place from which I sent you into exile. Matthew chapter 7 verses 7-8 says, Ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you will find. Knock and it will be open. For everyone who asks receives, and the one who seeks finds, and to the one who knocks it will be open. 1 Chronicles chapter 16 verses 11 says, Seek the Lord in his strength. Seek his presence continuously. limitations. So Lamentations verses chapter 3 verses 25 says, the Lord is good to those who wait for him, to the soul who seeks him. Isaiah 55 verse 60 through 7 says, seek the Lord and he may be found, call upon him while he's near. Let the wicked forsake his way, and the unrighteous man his thoughts. Let him return to the Lord and that he may have compassion on him, and to our God, for he will abundantly pardon. Psalms 119 verses 10 says, with my whole heart I seek you, let me not wander from your commandments. That's what I pray. So promises to those who seek God, according to God.net. Just 1 second, let me check on my name. Sorry about that, guys. So Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 27 says, but there you will seek the Lord your God, and you will find him and seek him with all your heart and all your soul. Isaiah 45, verse 22 says, look to me and be saved, all your ends of the earth, for I am God, and there is no other. Romans chapter 10, verse 13 says, for whoever calls on the name of the Lord shall be saved. So we talk about, he talks about people that seek the Lord. Let's see. What does it mean to seek the Lord? So, seeking the Lord, this is desiringgod.org. Seeking the Lord means seeking his presence. Presence is a common translation of the Hebrew word face. Literally, we are to seek his face. But this is a Hebrewic way of having access to God, to be before his face, to be in his presence. But aren't his children always in his presence? Yes and no. Yes in two senses. First, in the sense that God is omnipresent and therefore always near everything and everyone. He holds everything in being. His power is ever present, sustaining and governing all things. And second, yes, he is always present with children in the sense of the covenant commitment to always stand by us and work for us and turn everything for our good. Behold, I am with you always to the end of age. Matthew 28, verse 20 says, when he is not with us. But there is a sense in which God's presence is not always with us. For this reason, the Bible repeatedly calls to seek the Lord, seek his presence continuously. God's manifest, conscious, trusted presence is not our constant experience. There are seasons when we become neglectful of God and give him no thought, and do not put our trust in him, and we find him unmanifested, that is, unperceived, as great and beautiful and valuable by the eyes of our hearts. His face, the brightest of the personal character, is hidden behind the curtain of our carnal desires. This condition is always ready to overtake us. This is why we are told to seek the presence continuously. God calls us to enjoy continual consciousness of his supreme greatness and beauty and worth. What does it mean to seek? This happens through seeking, continual seeking. But what does that mean practically? Both the Old Testament and the New Testament say it is setting the mind and the heart on God. It is the consciousness fixing or focusing of our mind's attention and our heart's affection on God. Now set your mind and heart to seek the Lord your God, Chronicles said. If you have been raised with Christ, seek things that are above, where Christ is, seated on the right hand of God. Set your minds on things that are above, not on things that are on earth. So, obstacles to avoid. Our conscious choice, let's see, that this is a setting of the mind and the opposite of mental coasting. It is a conscious choice to direct the heart toward God. This is what Paul prays for the church. May the Lord direct your hearts to the love of God and be steadfast of Christ. It is a conscious effort on our part, but that effort to seek God is a gift from God. We do not make this mental or emotional effort to God, because he is lost, that we would seek in coin or sheep. But God is not lost. Nevertheless, there is always something through which or around which we must go to meet him consciously. This going through or around is seeking his. He is often hidden, veiled. We must go through mediators and around obstacles. The heavens are telling the glory, so we can seek him through that. He reveals himself in his word. So when we seek through that, he shows himself to us in evidence of grace in other people. So we can seek him through that. The seeking is the conscious effort to get through the natural means to God himself, to constantly set our minds towards God in all experiences, to direct our minds and hearts towards him through the means of revelation. That is what it means to seek God. Obstacles to avoid. And there are endless obstacles we must get around in order to see him clearly, and so that we can be in the light of the presence. We must flee spiritually dulling activities. We must run and get around them. They are blocking our way. We know that we know what makes us vitally sensitive to God's appearance in the world and in the Word, and we know that what dulls and blinds us as we make us not even want to seek him. These things we must move away and go around if we would see God. That is what seeking God involves. And as we direct our minds and hearts Godward in our experiences, we cry out to him. This too is what is seeking means. Seek the Lord while he may be found. Call upon him while he is near. If you will seek God and plead with Almighty for mercy. Seeking involves calling and pleading. O Lord, open my eyes. O Lord, pluck back the curtain of my own blindness. Lord, have mercy and reveal yourself. I long to see your face. Humility is essential. The great obstacle to seeking the Lord is pride. In the pride of his face, the wicked does not see him. Therefore, humility is essential to seeking the Lord. The great promise to those who seek the Lord is that he will be found. If you seek him, he will be found by you. And when he is found, there is a great reward. Whoever who would draw near to God must believe that he exists and that he rewards those who seek him. Hebrews chapter 11, verse 6 says, God himself is the greatest reward, and when we have him, we have everything. Therefore, seek the Lord and his strength, seek his presence continuously. All right, so tomorrow we will read the rest of John chapter 9. Hopefully that helped you out today. God does answer prayers. You just have to ask for them. And all I got to say is God is good. And we're just getting to know him, really getting to know him. I have been praying for years, but I finally am able to pray with my heart. And I'm asking and I'm seeking and I'm asking those questions every day. So, yeah, that's where I'm at. We'll see you tomorrow for October 31st. Guys, have a good night.